Hey everybody, Kyle here from Ohio Trading Coin and Jewelry and Todd Bosley's world famous YouTube channel, once again bringing you another really cool item, and this one is something straight out of the history books, guys. This is an incredible talking piece and item that I'm really excited, genuinely excited to be holding. So you guys are probably wondering why I'm like making such a big deal about it and why I'm so excited. It's because these guys right here, this is a, you guys, it's kind of hard to see on, there we go. You guys see how old these coins look? Well, let me look at the date. 330 AD. 330 AD, guys. That's like shortly after the Christ era, guys. This is incredible. This is from the Roman Empire, actually during the time of Constantine the Great. So there's actually a couple of those here. We have about 5 of those split up, and they're all about the same, but in various conditions. You can, this one's a little better. You guys can see the face on it, and they have another design on the back. And these have all been graded already, so they're already authenticated by the INB, the International Numismatic Bureau. And you guys can see they're so old, they're bound to have some kind of diminished or faded look because they are so old. I mean, this is thousands and thousands, this is centuries old. I mean, what are you going to expect? But to have a coin with still the face engraved on it is incredible. And here you can actually see there's the two people on the back here. These are incredible quality coins, and like I said, they are pieces of history. These are literally something from the history books that you really, some people would call it mythology. But of all these stories and myths about the Roman Empire and all the greats from back then, the rulers, the conquerors, all those guys, you take all their stories, and that's what they are. They're stories. They're so long ago. These are from such a long time ago that there's very little other proof or evidence of what these are. But these guys are evidence in themselves. These guys are incredible because you look at the times of the Roman Empire, people like Alexander the Great, Constantine the Great, the Constans, all those guys. You think about it. You've heard these stories, you've heard these names, but you can't see them, you can't touch it, it's not tangible, and they're from such a long time ago. The books that existed back then are no longer around, they're rotted away, and the historians that have transposed the stories and kept them frequent and fluid, they've kept the stories alive and all this great history alive. But that's all they are at the end of the day. For them, are stories. With these, this is one of the only pieces of evidence from that time that time even existed. This is one of the few pieces of living proof and evidence from that time era that actually survived. And I'm holding it in my hand. This is crazy. This thing is older than anybody you've ever met, anybody you've ever even thought of. The human race today, it's older than the human race today practically. So I just wanted to kind of key in and show you and talk to you about a couple different things and why they're so important. For example, first of all these guys on the top by the INB are all Constantine the Great coins. So these are from the Constantine the Great era of the Roman Empire. Constantine actually ruled from 307 AD to 337 AD. So really, he only ruled for about 30 years. Or she, sorry, my bad. Constantine only ruled for, I guess it was a he. Constantine's a he. Flavius Valerius Constantius. I might have messed up the last name. Constantius, something like that. These Roman names are really hard. But that was his real name. But obviously Constantine the Great sounds way better and way more powerful. So they roll with that for history purposes. But he actually was famous for his conversion to Christianity after the Battle of Milvan Bridge. He actually defeated Maxentius during that battle. And he became famous because he was because of that Christianity moment. Right before the battle, he actually saw the words In hoc signo victor eris, written over the top of the sun. And when you translate that, it actually means by this sign you shall conquer. So Constantine took that as a sign, as this is it. I'm winning the battle. So he took the Christogram, the insignia that I just referred to, the words over the sun, and put them on his shields in his army, and won the battle. I wouldn't say without contest, but he won the battle pretty triumphantly. He actually died in 337 A.D. And his sons took over, and they divided the Roman territories up. So that's one reason Constantine was really famous, because he brought that Christianity in, and he basically claimed that that's what made him win that battle, made him victorious. And that's what all these INB grade slabs are. So I'm gonna put these guys up in the front or the top, and I wanted to key in on this guy. So this is Constans II during the Byzantine Empire. Now this is a really cool coin. You guys can see the pictures they depicted on here. There's little people on. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can definitely tell there's some pictures on there, and they look really neat. Now, something different about this is it's chopped up. You guys can see how it's not a coin shape. It's a weird shape because it's so chopped up and old, and it's been beat up. It's been diminished. It's really lived its life. So this is an AE. So it's not great. Not a huge, great quality grade, but it's still pretty high up there, because you can see how the pictures on there. Now AU, I believe, is basically the grade for basically uncirculated and about the best condition you can get. So, but this guy got an AE, and it's still in really good condition. This guy is got to be worth some serious money. Again, piece of history right out of the history books. Only piece of evidence. Not the only, but one of the only pieces of evidence that exist from this time. Really, these guys and statues and stuff like that are the only pieces of evidence that survived from that time era to really claim that they got these rulers and all these great people actually existed. Now, Constans II was actually the son of Constantine III. They came to the throne in 641 at the age of 11. He was only 11 years old, and he was in charge of a whole place. He was the ruler of his country at the age of 11. Could you imagine having an 11-year-old being the ruler? Now, obviously, he had there was like a board, or what you call it, like a board of chairs or whatever, that basically ran the place while he was younger, and during his minority, they called it. But as soon as he got older, he took over. But imagine inheriting a place when you're 11 years old just because you're, and I believe it was because his father was either assassinated or he just passed. Another reason this guy was really famous was he actually, obviously he was 11 years old when he took over. So by the time he was 12 years old, the Muslim Arabs actually seized Egypt from Byzantium. Sorry, guys. But from his empire, the Muslim Arabs came in and just stole Egypt because it was a 12-year-old ruler, and they took advantage of that discourse or disorganization, and they swooped in and stole Egypt. And honestly, that was just the beginning. They also invaded Armenia in 647. But this guy, Constans, in 655, between then, he had actually wrote up a temporary kind of treaty with the Muslim Arabs, so he doesn't get attacked or have to deal with any, blowback. But he actually was involved in a battle in 655 in a naval battle, and his fleet was actually routed, and he barely escaped, and it was only because of one of his soldiers. A soldier actually came to his rescue and saved him. So Constance's reign would have been a lot shorter if it wasn't for one of his men. And back in the day, your soldiers mean a lot more to you than they do today. Another big thing was that he was actually a really good mediator. He mediated a lot of religion stuff. So basically, he forbidded a whole bunch of arguing and discussion about controversial things like Jesus Christ and stuff. He didn't want warring religions and stuff. So he actually had a problem with Pope Martin I, who condemned him for trying to stop all the arguing and whatnot, and he ended up having him arrested and exiled in 550 or 653. He literally had Pope Martin I exiled. But then in 656, he actually he made his son the co-emperor, which really made his brother mad, because it basically made his brother skip his brother. It made his son skip his brother in line of succession, and made his brother real mad. But it didn't really matter, because he turned around and actually he organized and plotted his brother's murder. So basically to try to stop his brother from trying to murder his son. Family drama back at its finest. But he actually, after a couple more years, he ended up deciding that, his people really didn't really agree with him anymore. He really felt like he wasn't wanted there. So he actually packed up and moved to Syracuse, Sicily, and he basically was trying to make it a capital for as a kind of a defense against the Muslim Arabs. So that way, if they came back in and attacked, they had a closer, better defense capital. But he ended up getting assassinated. I forget the whole story behind that part, but the more important or most important thing I have here in front of me, and I really wanted to explain this guy because he has a lot to his story. So Alexander III, during the kingdom of Macedonia, whatever. This is an incredible quality. As you see, it's AU, so it basically means it's about uncirculated, which is as close to perfect as they can get, I believe. And you can see this is a really good quality. You can see the head's really good. This is actually silver, so it's a silver drachma. And you can see the picture on the back here. Again, this is graded by NGC, so it's a little better company grading. NGC does a lot of coins, and they're really well known for it. So pretty much, if you got something graded by NGC, you don't have to argue about it. And that's one thing nice about having anything graded. It's already authenticated and certified, so you don't have to sit there and argue or state your point that you have something real. So Alexander III was a very interesting man. He is otherwise known as Alexander the Great, and he he has a lot about him, so I don't really know where to start. So when he was 13 years old, this guy was learning from Aristotle. That's right, Aristotle taught this guy. Imagine having your 13, 14, 15, and 16 year olds being taught by Aristotle, and the great things that they could accomplish afterwards. So obviously he was set up for greatness. At the age of 13, Aristotle was teaching him, but he actually advanced beyond Aristotle's narrow precept. Those are words I took straight from an internet website, so I don't want to be copyright written. But he actually took his learnings and actually advanced past Aristotle. Aristotle, little did I know, Aristotle actually believed that any non-Greeks were meant to be slaves. So anybody who wasn't part of wasn't a Greek and wasn't one of them, was meant to be one of their slaves, which is pretty crappy thinking, and it's this kind of thought that gets countries into wars. But it blows my mind that Aristotle, somebody who we all perceived as a great thinker and philosopher, believed that. But moving on, in 336, Alexander actually succeeded without any opposition. So Alexander was just a soldier in the army. He was a normal guy, but a lot of people liked him because he was a great soldier. He was really good at his job. But in 336, when his predecessor Philip was assassinated, he took over with no opposition. Really, nobody opposed him. Everybody wanted him to be the ruler. They didn't really have anybody better than him. And the entire army was behind him. So when your army's behind somebody, you're going to usually side with that guy, especially back then. So He executed the princes of Lycus, which I have a really hard time saying that again. But because they were pretty much the ones responsible for the murder of his predecessor Philip. Then he went and was appointed as the generalissimo. That's a really fun word to say, guys. Generalissimo for the forthcoming invasion of Asia that Philip actually had already started and began the planning process and everything. Philip started that before he was he even took over, and pretty much everybody in this invasion, everybody in this army, decided that Alexander the Great was the one that rule that army, and this army was composed of a couple different countries and people, just for Alexander the Great to rule them all. And he marched his army 240 miles. This story is incredible. He marched, and it's one of the reasons why Alexander the Great, it was not to be trifled with. He marched 240 miles in 14 days. That's Alexander right there. Marched 240 miles in 14 days to Thebes. I'm not gonna. I don't really know the whole story. I was just kind of trying to get you guys a Cliff Note version of everything. But he threatened the city of Thebes, who refused to surrender. Thebes was not giving in, and basically Alexander the Great gave them an option: you surrender, or you pay the price. Well, they refused to surrender, so they paid the price. Alexander the Great razed the entire city, and I don't mean razed as in bringing it from the ground or building something. He destroyed it. He leveled the city, and not only that, after killing 6,000 people, he then sold the rest, all the survivors, anybody who survived his attack of the city, anybody who survived that was then sold into slavery. So this guy, came in, he gave them an opportunity to surrender, and who knows what would happen after they surrendered, but chances are they probably wouldn't have been massacred and sold into slavery. But who knows, they could have. It was a weird time back then. So this guy destroyed an entire city, killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and then sold the rest of them to slaves, or as slaves. This is the dark time, and this is why this guy is known around the world for, even if you don't know what he's known for, you know the name Alexander the Great. And until today, you might not have known he had such radical and powerful moves, but now you don't. So this the money, like what you're looking at here, was always made either gold, silver, bronze. So it's a precious metal, and it outlasted the test of time, and is now here in front of us in a graded case, confirmed that it's real and from that era. So really, this is a piece of history that you're not going to come across ever again. And if you do, it's not going to be the two of the same items. These things have diminished so much that no two items look exactly the same. And that's really cool, because this is straight out of history. You can't even find a picture from that era. Like, cameras didn't exist. The world we know it today is like looks like a space age compared to what we came from back then. And much of this legend, like I said, guys, has been passed on through stories and through historians and textbooks like this. But there's very little evidence or proof that these people or these places existed, except for this. This is one of the very few pieces of evidence or proof that you can hold and you can actually buy. And really, these pieces are really undervalued right now. You can get yourself into these now, because in the next couple years, these are gonna skyrocket, go up to thousands of dollars, because they are scarce. They're worth a lot of money, and it's a piece of history that you'll very rarely ever get the chance to even hold, let alone own. So thank you guys so much for your time. And to finish this up, I wanted to end it with after everything that Alexander the Great took on and managed to do in his life, it was ended. They didn't know back then, but it was ended. The symptoms line up to either be typhoid fever or malaria. So this great man who was, unstoppable. He destroyed cities, thousands of people. He was a amazing soldier and leader, and he unfortunately met his maker due to just a couple of sicknesses and diseases that were really bad back then. I mean, if we didn't know the technology we have today, we wouldn't be where we are. So really crazy to believe that you know, back then, a great men, great people, powerful people are all at the end of the day human, and they can end just by any means, like malaria or like what we're more used to these days. So I'm going to leave it on that note, and hopefully you guys really enjoyed this, sucked up all this information I just spewed out to you, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning and being able to hopefully teach you guys a couple of things. And remember, guys, you can pick yours up here at Ohio Trading Coin and Jewelry at a really good price. I'm not even going to say it here on the video, but stop in and get yourself one of these, because it's a really good price. It's a good gift for somebody too. You got any historians or coin collectors or anything like that, these are perfect. Plus, like I said, great investment, great place to put your money, and watch it grow. So thank you guys so much for your time, your support, and everything you do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you at the same time, same place with another awesome item next time. Thanks.